7:30 here on day 10, walking day 10 that is. I'm just leaving Lyford on something called the Granite Trail, which is another one a bit like the Camel Trail. It's an old railway line turned into a cycle track. This is going to Oakhampton. Decided on this because obviously I'm behind on time and need to catch up some quick easy miles, so this was the choice for the first part of today's walk anyway. Probably carry on past Oakhampton. There's no campsites at Oakhampton, so the scenery is wonderful. Last night's campsite, in contrast to the day before, which cost £27, a tiny one-man tent, last night it cost me £7. Now that's a difference, and it's a beautiful sight. Fabulous views over Dartmoor, and a nice little pub nearby. Anyway, just turn round here so you can see the scenery. Quite lovely. And I'm just warming up and getting going. Speak to you later. It's just gone 6 o'clock in the evening, the end of day 10, which turned out to be a bit of a disaster really. I headed for a village called Samford something or other. There was two, Samford Chapel, and then the other place, Samford, whatever it was, where there's a campsite marked on the OS map. And having walked about 15 miles, got there, had to walk along a short stretch of a busy road to get to it, and when I got there it was a centre selling cut flowers. Anyway, so I walked back up the hill into the village and saw a sign going the other way saying campsite 470 yards. So I went in that direction and nothing. So I knocked on someone's door and they sort of looked at me and said, campsite? There hasn't been a campsite here for years. So thanks for that, OS. Anyway, it was the only campsite for miles around, so I just carried on walking. Got to a little village, well, almost to a little village on the Tarka Trail, and thought I'll head down to the River Tor on the Tarka Trail and come to this idyllic spot. And there, you can't see, it's through the trees over there. It's a little wooden bridge. I stopped there for a while. I thought I can probably camp here. So I filtered some water, did a bit more exploring, and lo and behold, right next to the path is this flat field with a picnic table. So I'm just waiting till it gets a bit later and a bit darker, and I'm going to put the tent up. As the footpath runs alongside the field over there, you can probably just see the gate somewhere in there. Anyway, interesting day. very early in the morning, day 11. Started walking at 6:30, and yeah, yesterday was an interesting day. I was heading from Lyford to a campsite at a village called Samford Courtney. Anyway, got to the village. Map said the campsite was a few hundred yards down the right of a very busy road. The sign said it was left 470 yards. So, anyway, after a lot of toing and froing up and down the road, I eventually knocked on the door of a lovely old couple in a bungalow and said, "Which way's the campsite?" And the woman looked at me strangely and then said, "What campsite? There hasn't been a campsite here for years." So despite the OS map showing a campsite, there wasn't one. So anyway, I started walking, wondering what to do. Looked on the map, saw a river called the River Tor in a little bit of a valley with some trees around, and thought I'll head for there and see what that's like. Well, it turned out to be great. Lovely little wooden bridge on the Tarka trail, and I thought, well, I can hang around here till it gets a bit later, slap the tent down. Ground wasn't very good though. Anyway, a bit of investigation, followed a little path into the trees, and it opened out onto a flat, grassy, mowed picnic area with a picnic table, which I thought, that's handy. So anyway, just hung around for a while. Got to about 7 o'clock and I put my tent up and I've just left. So yeah, all in all, turned out to be okay. So last night's pitch was free. Hey, makes up for the £27 one the other night. Anyway, I'm heading for somewhere called South Moulton today. I've got a room booked there. I've been out camping for 3 days. I'm a bit smelly, so oh yeah, that was the other thing. As I left the campsite this morning, I was thinking, I wonder what the locals would have thought had I been seen camping in their picnic area. At which point a cow that I was passing farted very loudly and copiously. So I guess that was his opinion anyway. Anyway, I didn't meet any locals, so I'm now wandering the lanes through Devon to Moulton, South Moulton. Catch you later. Right, morning of day 12, walking day 12 anyway. Left South Moulton this morning in North Devon. We'll cross into Somerset at some time today. More tales of woe, unfortunately. Got to South Moulton Friday night. Checked into a hotel after my night camping wild by the river, and went out for a meal. Had a pleasant meal next door to the hotel. Went to bed, nodded off for an hour or so, woke up feeling strange. Next minute I'm in the bathroom and that's where I spent most of the night, and I felt dreadful. So I spent the weekend at the hotel recovering from, or trying to, from a pretty horrendous bout of sickness and diarrhoea. Anyway, the only thing I can think of is that on the night I camped by the river, I was drinking the water from the river, which I was obviously filtering, so it shouldn't have been a problem. Sorry, I've got flies buzzing around me. But the filtering system involves filling a dirty water bottle from the river, squeezing it through the filter into a clean water bottle. Unfortunately, halfway through the process, the dirty water bottle gets crushed, so you have to, oh fuck, think my way's blocked. There's a tree falling across the road here. And there's a vehicle in the way. Well, the vehicle's reversed up. I'll see if I can walk round it. Obviously, a tree's come down after the rain, after a long dry spell. It's completely blocked the road. Let's have a look. Might be able to pick my way through as a pedestrian. Yeah, it should be okay. As long as I don't trip over. It's obviously come down. Actually, the tree snapped. Yeah, anyway, as I was saying, yeah, so in the process of filtering the water, once the bottle with the dirty water in got crushed, you need to blow into it to expand it again so you can continue squeezing. Unfortunately, like an idiot, a couple of times I put the dirty water bottle to my lips to re-inflate it, and it wasn't until afterwards I suddenly thought that wasn't a very wise move. I'm guessing that's what caused the problem. So I don't feel too great today, pretty weak, pretty dehydrated, but I'm just taking a slow stroll to Dulverton on the edge of Exmoor. As I say, I should soon be in Somerset, so catch you later. Right, day 13, left campsite at Wimble Lake a little while ago. Still having problems. Got left South Malton after a couple of days of illness, thinking that I was on the mend, and apparently I'm not. Yesterday had problems, digestive problems, had to keep disappearing into the trees. Anything I eat, well, let's just say I've turned into a human liquidizer and leave it at that. So what the next step is, I don't really know. I've sort of got a vague plan at the moment to head towards Taunton, see if I can get some medical advice. But there's obviously something wrong. I think it was when I filtered water the other night at the wild campsite and I accidentally put a dirty water bottle to my mouth 2 or 3 times without thinking. So I don't really know what to do now. I can't keep being ill and have to take time off and spend it in B&Bs, and it's just too much time, too much money. So I'll have to see, I don't know. Anyway, weather's better today, nice and sunny start. It was a bit grey and quite wet yesterday. Rained in the night, but it's quite lovely this morning. I have eaten this morning. I've eaten a large heavy duty flapjack bar. It's got 400 or 500 calories in it because I couldn't eat last night when I got to the campsite. So we'll see if I can see if that stays in me. Anyway, catch you later. Currently at Taunton railway station. Stayed last night in a place called something weird like Wiveliscombe, and got ready this morning, packed up, rucksack on my back, just check in to make sure I got everything, knocked my glasses off my face onto the floor, which was carpeted, and both arms promptly fell off. So without them I'm basically blind, varifocal, so I managed to sort of gaffer tape the arms back on temporarily. I'm heading now into Bridgewater. I'm going to sort myself out there, and tomorrow my wife's flying over from Tenerife and we're meeting up for a few days, so that's the end of the walking for the time being. See how it goes from here. What a disaster. I can't believe I've had so much bad luck. Oh well, there you go.